Welcome to Professor Hemlock's Study, everyone. Today we are going to go over rated battlegrounds as an arcane mage. It's the easiest way to get rival or better in PvP. Arcane does feel very viable in rated battlegrounds, and it is also just a ton of fun. I love rated battlegrounds. Having an objective to play around offers a lot more fun for PvP content, where Arena can kind of feel like if you're not the meta spec, it's not as fun. Rated battlegrounds, since there is an objective and team play and coordination are a dramatic impact on what makes success in RBGs, Arcane can shine. So let's kind of go over what I use for RBGs, why, and how. So first off, I want to talk about Conduits and Soulbinds. This is my generic layout I use for RBGs. Nothing is really out of the ordinary for the meta here. The only thing that I think is somewhat out of the ordinary is Grounding Surge. So this is something that is very impactful in RBGs, and it is interrupting spellcasts. There are a ton of casters in every RBG. I mean, at minimum, you got 3 healers on the enemy team. If not, boomkins, other mages. There's so much casting going on in RBGs. It is unbelievably important to start kicking things. And the more kicks you do, the more interrupts you do, the better. Mage has the number one, shared number one most valuable kick in the game with Warlock. And if we are able to get a 3.8 second reduction on that kick, it can absolutely be game changing. The other finesse conduit that would even be considered an option would be Flow of Time to get to be able to shimmer and blink more, but it is just not as valuable in RBGs as most often you're running in a group of individuals, and you're not going to be the target of enemy attacks that often. With your current set of mobility, we're not going to be in the front lines taking a lot of damage anyways, okay? Really why I'm running the Arcane Prodigy and Discipline of the Grove conduits are more catered towards generic cooldown reduction. It's very important in rated battlegrounds that we are using AP as much as possible, Touch of the Magi as much as possible, and Presence of Mind as much as possible, trying to deal out as much consistent high pressure and damage setups to secure a kill as possible. So this is by far probably the best build you'll want to run. It just so happens that it's also really good in PvE content as well, so it can definitely be shared. So that's our Conduit and Soulbind selection. Eventually, what may be another option is Karane's Tree here, when you have the Wild Hunt tactics in conjunction with First Strike. That can be a decent option depending on a given situation. Why that may be eventually a combo option is you can go invis, you'll always secure the first attack on someone, and you'll always have a big damage bonus on that opener, so you can do quite a bit of substantial pressure in opening with arcane power. But at the moment, since this is not available, Naya is a clear and easy selection. Okay? Going over talents here, I do not run a arena setup in RBG. The big thing that's going to be the difference here is enlightened versus overpowered. Okay, this is really the most important difference. Overpowered becomes extremely valuable with Rune of Power in RBGs, as again, we are not the target of enemy attacks. Since we're not the target, we get a huge advantage and are able to use the highest damage output. So this can be ran all the time, consistently. Rune of Power and overpowered. A little bit of a flex row is your Shimmer Row again. Master of Time and Shimmer are both really good selections. Slipstream, not so much. This is kind of a non-pick in RBGs. You're simply not needing to ever evocate, really. And you don't need to worry about your clear cast missiles being able to move. Shimmer to get out of situations immediately is extremely valuable. Master of Time breaking stuns and getting some heal off altar time can be of value in certain situations in RBG, but it's definitely a situational pick, with Shimmer being your lock-in on this row. This other row here, the 40 talent row, Chrono Shift and Ring of Frost is our other kind of selection row. If we are going up against a heavy melee comp in RBGs, Ring of Frost can be extremely valuable, where you can actively secure crowd control on more than one target at a time if they're staying nice and grouped up, which melee attackers most often will because they'll be DPSing one target. So Ring of Frost can have high value. Chrono Shift as well does have extremely high value, though, giving yourself more ability to adjust and reposition. In addition to, if you're dumping a 4-charge Arcane Barrage, you are going to slow down 4 enemies at once. So that can offer a lot of utility. This is definitely Chrono Shift being a little bit more of a primary pick against caster cleaves, Ring of Frost being a little bit better pick against melee cleaves, and then it's also map dependent. Like on Eye of the Storm, I think is a great example. Ring of Frost has insane value if you are pushing the mid line and you Ring of Frost their back line. They're either, and if say you have melee on your side and you push forward, they're forced to back up into the Ring of Frost, eat the crowd control, or you're getting a group of people in a crowd control right off the bat due to their positioning. So certain maps, Ring of Frost does have extremely high value. Most often, I do run Ring of Frost instead of Chrono Shift, okay? Orb is going to be a generic lock-in. Resonance, generic lock-in. Rune of Power, it's just more damage. It's the lock-in. And same with Amplification. It's the most damage. It's the easiest lock-in. Arcane Empowerment, of course, is a straightforward lock-in as well. This is going to make it so when we Arcane Explosion, our clear casts are not wasted. So that's a huge benefit. If we ever did need to Arcane Explosion, not only does it generate clear casting, potentially, but it does not cost our proc, so we can focus more single target damage, as we will not be an AoE damage spec in rated battlegrounds. Okay? And of course, the Arcane Missiles damage is huge as well. So that's a very good talent. You want to run it. This is a must run. Kleptomania is also the other must run in this situation. Kleptomania has insane value. It's on a 30-second cooldown from your normal spell steal. But the biggest benefit here is if you're running even with any comp, this is going to be valuable. But if you're running with melee especially, and a target, say a paladin, tosses bop onto your damage target, one Kleptomania, that bop is gone, right? You just spell stole everything off that person. If you're running against a bunch of druid healers or priest healers, all those hots, poof, gone. Kleptomania has extreme value and is an absolute must run whenever your team is looking to set up a big go phase. You run Kleptomania, you klepto off all their buffs, all of their hots, everything, fortitude. You take it all off. You just made your team that much easier and able to secure that kill in the RBG. Torment the Week is somewhat of a flex row. I personally love Torment of the Week in RBG. It's so great against melee comps. It's so great against healers that are packed together. If you make it so people have a hard time moving in RBG, they're less able to transition positionally, and you're more able to apply pressure to people rather than let them escape. So Torment the Weak has a lot of value. Other options are just kind of generic options. Master of Escape can be really good if you're looking to have more of invisibility uptime. Mass Invisibility can also have some upsides as well. Basically, you can get a whole stealth for a group of people. It is very short uptime, only 5 seconds, so you're not going to be able to, say, stealth across the map and ambush a point together, but you can get a small reposition on some people if you're, say, starting to aggress a position on an enemy. So it does have some value and it can be utilized. Generically, it is not as valuable as Torment the Weak, but it does have its place where it can be valuable, and I've seen some people pull off some pretty cool tricks with it. Defensive ability, again, is not needed, so Temp Shield isn't really needed as much, simply due to the fact that we're not the target of our enemies in RBGs a lot. Dampen Magic can be somewhat valuable. Say you run up against Shadow Priest, Affliction, Warlock, Boomkin, Dot Cleave comp. It does have some value, but again, defensives aren't needed as much in RBG. We're mainly not going to be the target, and we already have Prismatic Barrier, reducing the damage we take from magical effects by 20%. So we will not be taking a lot of magic damage, so it's kind of unnecessary to run additional magic damage prevention. Okay, so that's kind of our talents and our conduit selection and soulbind selection. Gear selection is super important as well. We want to have as many slots with PvP gear as possible. I cannot stress that enough. Equip PvP gear. The versatility benefit from double PvP trinkets is mind-blowing. It is absolutely mind-blowing. It is so beneficial. I currently have around 29% versatility, which means when I'm equipping double PvP trinkets, I have a consistent 40% increased damage in PvP situations. 40% increased damage. That is massive. You will see some crazy numbers. And I do go full damage build. We do not run Triune Ward. We run Arcanic Coal. Again, we're not the target of our enemies a lot of the time. We are a damage dealing class. So we want to make sure we're maximizing that damage dealing ability and keeping extremely high uptime on damage. The Execute legendary has insane value. If anyone drops below 35% in RBG, they're dead. They're done. I've seen north of 30k crits. A tank ain't living that. Healers aren't living it. DPS ain't living it. It is insanely valuable. Run Arcanic Coal. It is definitely the play. Okay. In every slot, I do have Verse as the primary stat in everything. It's all Verse. As far as other secondaries, it is not that important and it does not matter that much in PvP. You simply just want to have as high a versatility as possible, and that is the number one goal. Verse, verse, verse. If I were to pick, I would probably try and maximize my crit and haste. Mastery just doesn't offer enough damage benefit to really matter. It does have some benefit. Really, the three other secondaries besides versatility are all just kind of neutrally good, and I wouldn't specifically say one is exponentially above the other. Okay, we're really just going for maximum amount of verse possible. Okay. So in RBGs, let's talk about how we set up kills and what setting up a kill it kind of looks like as an Arcane Mage. So we really have three major damage cooldowns, okay? We have Touch of the Magi, we have Presence of Mind, and then we have Arcane Power. So it is extremely important to know how to utilize these cooldowns to maximize your damage pressure in RBGs. Kind of breaking this down, you never want to separate these two cooldowns right here. Presence of Mind and Touch of the Magi. These are your primary go abilities. You don't want to risk getting kicked or interrupted when you are using your big damage go. So there is 2 major damage cycles every minute. So depending on where you're at in cooldown phase and where you're at in DPS cycling, it's kind of what cooldown you can want to use. If you're looking to set up a mini go on a target, it's going to be pretty straightforward. You have your Rune of Power, you're going to drop Rune of Power, Touch of the Magi, Presence of Mind, and then you're going to, we'll just kind of do it here. Presence of Mind, 3 Arcane Blasts, 1, 2, 3. We're going to utilize any Clearcast procs we may have gotten, and then we're going to spam that Arcane Barrage at the end before that Touch of the Magi goes off. Right there, we just did 63,000 damage. Extremely, extremely high damage figures. Our Touch of the Magi did 10,000 damage, so that's really good, right? And that's kind of how we're going to use our first go setup, right? We are utilizing these two together to make sure we don't get kicked on our mini little go phase. We have Rune of Power down first, so that way if we do get interrupted, we can simply wait and then reset, and we didn't waste any of our Presence of Mind, and then we can go into a big damage go phase. Now, your secondary damage go phase, or your primary damage go, is going to revolve around Arcane Power, and it's the exact same setup. We're looking at Touch of the Magi, Presence of Mind, Arcane Power. We're going to get as many blasts as we can in. Once we get as many blasts in, once that Touch of the Magi is about to wear off, we want to get that Barrage in. So if we get clear casting procs, we want to use the clear casting procs. If we don't get clear casting procs or don't have any clear casting procs stacked up, then we're just going to want to make sure we get that barrage in. So again, kind of letting it go here. We've got Touch of the Magi. We have Presence of Mind on. We AP on Use Trinket, Blast, Blast, blast. We're looking at that tracker on time. We didn't get any procs, so we're just trying to get as much out as we can. And we cancel cast, and we make sure we get that much damage in. Now, obviously, I still have AP time up left, so if I were to keep spamming out damage, we'll be able to deal more and more damage off of that go phase. And that is, especially if you can get a target below 35% in that go phase, you can do north of 100,000 damage in that short go phase. And it can be extremely detrimental to the enemy team when you secure that kill on someone with the execute. The big thing there is that Touch of the Magi is going to give you 4 charges. Now, kind of something of note, if you're able to go into a go phase with multiple clear casting procs, that's always better. So something to note here, again, going back, that Arcane Empowerment, the only thing that is going to consume your clear casting procs now is Arcane Missiles. Arcane Explosion will not consume procs. So if you're in the back and you have a bunch of time, you can build up clear cast procs by spamming Arcane Explosion. You can stack 2, 3, you can get a whole bunch of them going, and then when you're ready, you can dump them all into that target, so you're maximizing damage that one way when you have Touch of the Magi and Presence of Mind up. Just be aware that you can get interrupted, and that would shut down your go phase, so you do want to get those 3 Presence of Mind damage dealing blasts out first, okay? So kind of to summarize our damage setups, we're always using Presence of Mind. We're always using Touch of the Magi together. We're dropping Rune if we don't have Arcane Power. Otherwise, it's just straight Touch of the Magi, Presence of Mind into AP. Blast, blast, blast. Use our clear cast procs. Finish off with a barrage. If we need to continue dealing high amounts of pressure, there's going to easily be more than one person stacked up. We'll drop an orb. That'll probably give us 4 charges. And then we can slap out another barrage. Okay? So that is generically how we're going to set up our go. And when we're in between those phases, you are simply going to be spamming Arcane Blast, using Clear Cast procs, doing more of a traditional single target rotation, but of course, throwing out polymorphs on CC targets, making sure you're interrupting value interrupt targets, things like fears, polymorphs, big heals, like Holy Light, for example, from Holy Paladins. Huge heal, interrupt it, make sure you can. We're Kleptomaniaing our DPS target. We're making sure they're yoink all those buffs off, make sure they got nothing for us. And then you're going in with that big damage. You're assisting your team in that kill setup. Arcane Mage is extremely valuable, and it's really fun to play in RBGs, and I personally enjoy it. I currently play over 1,800 in RBGs, or over 1,800 CR. Our MMR for the comp we run is over 2K right now. If you are interested in watching us play, we play Saturday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and I do stream all those games. I want to thank everyone for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know. I'd be glad to help answer any questions or give any advice. For now, this is Professor Hemlock signing out.